Well, good morning. This is March 26th of 2026, and we're down here this morning in the Leatherwood Wilderness again. We're at the old Push Mountain Fire Tower, and this is the old tower itself here. Obviously you can't get up there. They don't wish you to get up there anymore. But we're going to start off here from this trailhead and go down and hike a couple old road traces. Start with the Barkshed extension and take it back to another spur that is the Rose Road old road trace, and try and follow it back down to a bluff overlooking the Buffalo River. But we will see how it goes. Anyhow, it should be about an 8-mile round trip. Temperature's probably about 60 some degrees, supposed to get up close to 90 today. But anyhow, here's our trail where we'll start. I'll finish getting my gear on, get the camera situated, and we'll get started on the trail. See you in a few. Okay, this is the start of the trail here, and we're going to take off down the hill. This is about probably a 60-foot drop or so, 60, 70. That drops down to the old Barkshed Road extension. So a lot of this trails again down here in the Leatherwood are more horse trails than they are people trails, if you will, or definitely not maintained trails. Okay, you can see it going down. I'll shut the camera off for a few and catch you when we get down to the old road. Okay, well, we made it down to the old Barkshed Road extension, and this is still used by the Forest Service, and I think there is a private landowner way back in there that uses it for some access to their property. So this is not totally what I would call an old road trace, but it's pretty close. We should have some good hiking here along the road. And we're going to go up, there's two spur roads that go off of this. There's a Watts Road, old road trace, and then a Rose Road that again is an old road trace that you can take off to the left. I'm going to go back today to the Rose Road and take it back into the left and see if I can follow the ridge line all the way down. We should hit a spot where we're looking over the Buffalo River, and I'll turn around and come back out. It's almost 4 miles one way, so it'll be almost an 8-mile day today. I got started at 7:55 in the morning, so it'll be a good long day, but it won't be quite as rugged a terrain as dropping down into the drainages around here like I did last hike and then climbing back out. They'll definitely be uphill coming back out of it, but nothing quite as steep as those, so hopefully that'll compensate for a little more distance. Anyhow, you can see the road ahead of us here. I'm going to shut the camera off and catch you in a little bit. Okay, we've still been heading down the old Barkshed Road extension. And this is the first road trace that takes off to the left here. And I believe, looking at my old maps, this was called the Watts Road. And it runs back in there pretty much along the ridgetop on back there a fair distance. You could come back out, or I think you could drop down. I could be wrong on this, but I think you can drop off the end of that ridge and hook into this drainage over here. And it is I think this is Short Creek over here. I may be wrong on that one, and then you can actually come back up that drainage and get out down here on this end somewhere. That's a possible hike for another day. Anyhow, so we're trucking along. We shouldn't be too far from the road trace we're going to follow. And I think, as I said earlier, that'll be called the Rose Road, if my old mapping system that I look at for these things is correct. But anyhow, so far so good. This is about as good a hiking as you can get along this old Barkshed Road extension. And up here is where they totally block off vehicles unless you got keys to the gate or something. So we'll be getting a little more remote as we go on back. So here we are. I'll shut the camera off and get you in just a little bit. Okay, well, we've reached the point of turnoff from the Barkshed Road, and this ridgeline here should be the old Rose Road that goes back in there. I don't see much of a road trace at this point. There may be a little bit of a trail right down here. Yeah, maybe here. Yep, looks like we found something anyhow to follow. So we're going to head off down here, leave the old Barkshed Road extension, and start off what, according to my map, or old map that I looked at, was named the Rose Road, and goes back in here quite a ways. We made good time up to here. We made that in about 35 minutes down to this turnoff. You can kind of see a trail going ahead of us here. This is what I believe was the old road trace. And with any luck, all we have to do is stay on the top of the ridge and follow it on back. Now, of course, it probably won't be that easy, but you can see it going on ahead. So I'll shut the camera off and get you in a few. Okay, thought I'd turn the camera back on here for a couple minutes. We're still on the Rose Road old trace, and it's not much of a road trace, but it is kind of a single track horse trail. So far the going's been pretty good, and it is staying on the ridge line. You can see the drop off over here into the drainage on that side of the ridge, and then you can't see as well, but there's a drop off right over there, drops on down into, I believe that is the Short Creek drainage on that side, but I wouldn't swear to that one totally without getting the map out. So anyhow, we're making pretty good time, and so far this has been a pretty good trail back in here, even though it's not a maintained trail, this one has been pretty decent. Now, I probably just ruined my luck, and it'll change on me, but so far so good. Anyways, you can kind of see it wandering on around up there. I'll keep trucking. Talk to you later. Okay, well, we've been on the trail right at an hour now, and we've done about 2.3 miles, so we're making pretty good time, as is pretty normal with this type of trail. The further back you get, the fainter it gets in spots. There were a couple spots I had to slow down and find a way because it wasn't readily visible. But that's pretty normal, and only had, I guess, one area that I had to do a little scouting on to get through, but it wasn't very much. So far so good. You can see the trail going on ahead of us here. And we're dropping down off of one of the little knobs. So we'll probably head down into a little valley here between knobs, and then have to go up again. But that's the nature of this terrain. So anyhow, there you go. You can see the trail on ahead. I'll shut the camera off and get you in a little bit. Okay, just a note here. You can look ahead here and see it looks like we kind of have forking trails. And they may both get you there. According to what I marked on my map, this one on the left is the one that I should be looking for. So I'm going to follow it. But just be aware when you get here that we'll see when I get there if the one on the left was the right choice. Catch you later. Well, we're working our way on down. We're not too far, probably 3/4 of a mile or so from the end of it, I believe. I wanted to get a picture out this way on the left-hand side as you're going out. You can see the drop-off over there. I believe that's probably the Buffalo River Valley starting down in there. And we still got a knob over on this side, but you can see the old road trace going on ahead of us. So I'll shut the camera off. We'll keep trucking. Catch you later. Okay, well, been about 2 hours now, and according to my software, I've done about a little over 3.8 miles, which is about what I thought it would be in total coming out. And I haven't quite got there yet. Somewhere up in that tangle of trees and brush is the final end point, but I don't think I'm going to go on down. You can see the drop off over here on the right hand side. We're out here on the end point, but this last couple 3/10 of a mile has been the worst part of the hike. The trail split again, and I took the fork I thought was right and it turned out to be incorrect. And by the time I got back to where the trail was supposed to be, in this porous debris and litter, it had disappeared. So I have been bushwhacking around back in here trying to find a path back down here to the very point that I think you might have a glance out at the buffalo, but I don't know that for a fact. I think I'm going to walk over here real quick to the left and see if by any chance there's a view from over there of anything. And then I'm probably going to wrap this up and head on back. Didn't quite get what I was hoping for, but it was a good hike. I've enjoyed it. Even picking my way through the weeds back here. And as I've said on a couple others, The greenbrier is out and growing. And it's typical with that stuff, when it gets to going in an area, it just clumps up. Okay, well, you can see the drop off over here going down, and I'm pretty certain that is the Buffalo River Valley down there. But I'm afraid if I worked my way on out there on the point, I wouldn't get any better view than I've got right here. So, there is a little bit of a trail here, a track. It keeps urging me to keep going, keep going. I think I'll go out here to where this log is laying across the trail and take a look from there. It does look like it goes on down. I just don't know how steep it is down in there and what the terrain's like. So okay, we've had a good hike. Got back in here close, and again you can see the drop-offs down on either side, and down here on the left, and I think out here at the end of this point is the Buffalo River. So we're right there. But anyhow, I'm going to cut it just a little short. I'll turn the camera off and start working my way back toward the car. Catch you later. Okay, well, made it back up from my low point, I guess, back up over that last knob. If you look at my track, the track coming back out, probably I was on the trail a little more there than I was going once I got off the trail when I was heading down. So anyhow, we're back over the knob, definitely on the trail now, we can see, so we ought to be in good shape heading on back. That's the one thing I will say about these trails, these old horse trails or road traces. Once they get covered with leaves and forest debris, and you get off of them, you can be 10 feet away and you can't see that there's a trail there. So they do make it interesting, give you a little excitement along the way there. But we did it. We didn't get quite down to the bluff I was hoping to get to, but given the way the trees were, I'm not sure we would have seen anything anyhow. So we are on our way back. And hopefully we'll be able to maintain a pretty decent pace going back up this plateau here. You can kind of see the trail ahead of us. I'll cut the camera off and see you in a little bit. Okay, this is on the way back. I think I took a different horse trail on the way back, so I ended up down here along the bluff, and you can see down into the drainage down here. Pretty good drop off there. Anyhow, well, we're making time. Like I said, I think I got on a different horse trail, but we're doing okay. I'll shut the camera off and see you in a few. Okay, came across this formation on the way back. Looks like if we had some rain, we'd have a nice little fall there, but not anytime soon with what we've had. So again, there's the trail going on ahead of us, and I'll shut the camera off and keep trucking. See you later. Okay, well, we are coming off the Rose Trail, or Rose Old Road, back here up the bark shed. Oh my. Well, going out was difficult in spots. Coming back was better. Oh no. Whoops. No Barkshead Road. Hang on. Stop the camera.